Okay. That wasn't supposed to be the intro, but I think it might be. What's going on, guys? So we haven't had some Madden news in a minute, and then EA tweeted out that they're going to be dropping their Madden ratings starting next Monday. So I was like, you know what? Let's do a better job than EA. I already know I'm going to be completely off on this because I remember last year when EA released their ratings, it was bad. These are just my guesses. So if you guys disagree, that's fine. Oh, hey, what's going on? You see that right there? Wow, that right there. That's the comment of the video. You want to be the comment of the video? Put some in the comment section. It could be mean. It could be nice. Who knows? Here's a mean comment. Crazy. Got some of those now. But hey, also while you're here, might as well drop a like on the video. And if you're new here, subscribe too. Trying to get to 750 subscribers by the end of the year. Help a guy out. So we'll be doing 6 different positions up until they release the ratings. That's going to be quarterback, running back, wide receiver, cornerback, safety, that's combining strong safety and free safety, as well as linebackers, and that combines right, middle, and left linebackers, because that's what Madden does. They do right outside, middle, and then left outside linebacker. Now I'm not gonna do any other positions because you can't really do top 5. Like, there are really only 5 good edge rushers, 5 good tight ends, 5 good linemen. Like, you really can't differentiate here. These are the main skill positions, the ones that you can break down the most, I feel like. So today's video is going to be the quarterbacks, and for every single video that I do, I will not only be doing a top 10, but I will also do who I think will be the highest rated rookie coming into the year, and I will be basing these No, go ahead, take your time. I swear to God, Utah is only construction and heat in the summertime. I can't do anything until they're done. Well, we're just gonna sit here. Is it over? I think they're done. Y'all done? I don't remember the last thing I said, I'm being completely honest. So yeah, we're doing the quarterback rankings, and then throughout the next couple of days, I'll be doing the other positions as well. So, number 1, of course, arguably the best player in the NFL right now, Patrick Mahomes. He ended Madden 21 with a 99 overall, and I have a feeling not just because he's the cover athlete, but because of how just dominant he has been in the NFL, he will probably be a 99 as well. Number 2 in my mind is going to be Tom Brady. He is the other cover athlete as well as the other quarterback who was in the Super Bowl. And I know that the Bucs only went 10-6 last year, but he did finish Madden 21 as a 96. I think he will go into Madden 22 as a 97. I think if he wasn't the cover athlete, he probably would be like a 95, 96. But since he's the cover athlete, they do have to make him a higher. They have to, but they probably will make him a higher overall than some other quarterbacks who I think are in the same like realm as him. Quarterbacks like number 3, the MVP of the league last year, Aaron Rodgers, who ended Madden 21 with a 95 overall, and I think will also be a 97 overall, just like Tom Brady. And I think, like I said, if Brady was a 96 and Rodgers was a 97, but Brady was the cover athlete, that would have been like, why don't you have your best player? So I think the EA is going to try and justify Brady being the cover athlete by putting him as the same overall as Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers ended the season, I mean, he's the MVP. He almost threw for 50 total touchdowns. He had a massive season, went to the NFC Championship for a 2nd year in a row. We don't know who he's playing for next year, but before the Mahomes-Brady announcement was made, I thought it would either be Aaron Rodgers or Derrick Henry that were the cover athletes just because of how dominant they were. Number 4 is Russell Wilson, who ended with a 95 overall. I think he'll come into Madden 22 with also a 95 overall. He had a great start to the season. The offense was letting him cook, and then they started adding the running game, and he just started to slow off a little bit towards the end of the season. But he had some great weapons around him, but between DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Chris Carson when healthy. Obviously, he's just one of the best quarterbacks in the game right now, not only because of his veteranness, his IQ, but also his mobility helps him out a lot. He's got a great arm, and he's also just an overall leader. Speaking of mobility, number 5 is Josh Allen in my mind. This is one of the bigger jumps from the end of Madden 21 to the beginning of Madden 22. He ended Madden 21 with an 88, and I think that he should be somewhere around the 94, 93, 94 range. I mean, obviously he was in the MVP conversation. He probably had one of the biggest year 3 jumps that we've seen in a really long time. His mobility is amazing. I mean, he led the Bills in I think every single rushing category. He was in the MVP conversation for a reason. Number 6, this is where I already know it's gonna start to get controversial, and number 7's fan base is why. But number 6 in my mind is Deshaun Watson. He ended Madden 21 as a 90 overall, and I think he'll come into Madden 22, or should come into Madden 22 as 92 overall. Okay, I'm just gonna let you know who number 7 is right now. It's Lamar. The reason I have him over Lamar is because I think Deshaun is much more than just a running quarterback, similar to Lamar. I think Deshaun has the intangibles. Maybe not off the field, but that's not the factor here. Deshaun is somehow always able to put together a successful season with such a horrible offensive line and almost no weapons around him. And I think the quarterbacks who have lower overalls, in my mind, wouldn't be able to succeed with the travesty that Deshaun Watson has had around him for the past couple of years. And like you guys heard me say, number 7 is Lamar Jackson. He ended Madden 21 with a 91 overall. I think he comes in with a 92 overall. He had a slow start to the season, but at the end, he was able to kind of find his groove, and the Ravens got things going towards the end. And he also just started to throw the ball a little bit more. I think that's one of the reasons why he's going to be a 92. I don't think it's going to be a huge, progression. I don't think it's going to be a situation where he's going to have the throwing stats of everybody else ahead of him, or probably most people behind him. What gives him this high overall is his mobility. I just think that he's going to get a little bit of boost in his passing attributes just because of how he ended the season. Number 8, this was the biggest jump out of everybody, and it's so disrespectful. When I looked up what his overall was at the end of Madden 21, but EA, do you watch football? It's Kyler Murray. He ended last year as an 82. He ended as an 82 overall. Like, for the first 6 weeks of the season, he was in MVP conversation because the Cardinals were doing so well, and he was doing almost everything for the Cardinals, and he wasn't even an 82 at that point. So at the end of the season, he's an 80. I'm convinced by Kyler Murray alone that EA does not watch football, because he probably should have ended the season at like an 87 or 88 minimum. But you guys can see I do have Kyler entering Madden 22 as a 90. I think that's fair for all reasons I just stated. He essentially was the entire offense of the Cardinals last year. He's like a smaller version of Josh Allen in my mind, but he uses his legs a lot more. One thing that he literally said in an interview was his rushing ability should be a luxury, not a necessity. I agree with that 100%, but the fact that they can rely on his rushing ability, phenomenal. He carried this entire Cardinals team last year, and I don't think there's another quarterback. I don't think Lamar could have done this. I don't think other quarterbacks who are behind him, who I'm not going to spoil, could have done this. He had a great season overall, and I cannot wait to see him in year 3. Number 9, I already know that people are like, where has this guy been? How is he? How are you putting so-and-so above this guy? Okay, number 9, yeah, it's Dak Prescott. He ended last year at an 87, and I think he'll come into Madden 21 as an 89. I do think if he hadn't gotten injured, he probably would have ended Madden 21 at like a 92 or 93, and probably would have come into it. I think it would have been pretty fair to put him like a 90, 91. But because of the injury, obviously, it's a leg injury, so that might affect his mobility. I don't think it's going to affect his arm strength too much, but I am giving him a bump. Not every single player is getting a bump. There have been some players that got on a drop, but I do think he's, again, the 9th best just in the situation right now. He'll probably finish like top 5 in all the statistics or whatever, but just going into the season, I think giving him a little 2 rating boost is fair. And I think if he's the 9th out of 10th best quarterback in the league, that's pretty damn good to start the season after a really, really bad injury. At number 10, this is kind of weird. It was between this guy and Justin Herbert, but I do think they won't give Herbert as big of a jump as they should. And this one goes to Ryan Tannehill. He ended last year at an 87. I think he'll start at an 87 as well. It's pretty fair. I mean, honestly, if you look at like a blind statistic rating for Ryan Tannehill against almost any other quarterback, he's been a very good quarterback for not just the Tennessee Titans, but for the league. He's very efficient ever since he's left Matt Gase, just the entire coaching system that he was trashed in. I think it's fair to say he's been phenomenal. I mean, the team did not change that much between him and the Mariota seasons. Tannehill is able to do what Mariota couldn't, and that is win the division, win a couple playoff games, and honestly just kind of make this team feel like a championship contender every single year. So I'm going to give Tannehill the respect that he deserves. I do think an 87 is pretty fair for him. And the highest rookie quarterback going into Madden 22, it's obvious. It's going to be Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's the highest touted prospect in the past, forever. I think a 78 overall is pretty fair, especially because most quarterbacks are given like a 75 or 76, but I think because of how highly touted he is, I think 78 is actually pretty fair. just because of arm strength, size, and his mobility that are really going to help him out. So there we go. There are my top 10 quarterbacks going into Madden 22 overall wise. I'm curious what you guys have to say. If you guys agree, disagree, think I left someone off, think someone should have been higher than someone else. I'm really curious what you guys have to say. The next video will be the running backs. Looking forward to that video, so look out for that in the next couple days. But other than that, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.